Scotty's not dancing. I told you to dance.
Oh shit! Sorry.
You fuck! You left me out to run.
Sorry, I didn't realize I had to dance. Okay, hang on.
No, it's alright.
Let's
No,
go
it's
again.
fine. No, it's fine. We're doing it now. Okay, welcome everyone, my fellow Gormaganders. We're back. We're back.
Oh my god, he's throwing me right into the fucking deep fat fryer here, David. Aren't we? Okay.
We're back in the seat. We're back in the saddle. We're back.
Does this one have an episode number, or where are we?
No. Okay. They released 4 minisodes between season 1 of Discovery and season 2 of Discovery. They released one a month. I don't know if they're actually called minisodes. I think Scotty said that word once, and then I just latched onto it. Yeah, but basically, they released 4 15-minute episodes, and we're going to talk about them now. Now that they're all out.
Would you call them webisodes? Is that what people say?
You know, recently, like within the last few months, I actually attended a webinar.
Oh my god! I thought they stopped doing those because they... Do they still do them?
No, they still do them. I mean, why not? It's the best way to get information out to the people.
Oh, okay. Was it good? Did it help?
No.
Was it like new sort of
It also
turbo
lagged
chats?
a whole bunch. It was like trying to Skype with somebody when they're in Bulgaria or something, you know. It was just like really awful.
Speaking of which, isn't about our real life stuff. This is about Star Trek. So.
Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. Stop talking about work. This is Mr. 9 to 5 over here.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 4 episodes. They released them. I don't know where you watch them because I went on Netflix because we're in Australia. I went on Netflix where Star Trek is, and they went on there. So I had to get them.
What's the actual legal way to watch them? Because I obviously got them off Easy TV.
Well, I don't know.
Interesting.
Are they on
it's
the
almost
internet?
like they don't. It's like they don't want you to watch. It's the same with my Formula One. There's a thing called F1 TV that people in other countries can sign up for and watch the shows live and watch old races and just all the perks. And
Fantastic.
you can't get that. You can't get that in Australia because they have an exclusivity thing with Foxtel. So you just they don't want my money. They don't want me to watch.
They don't want my money. Oh, well, okay. Star Trek comes through Netflix in Australia, and I would assume they had the minisodes, but they don't.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe they're gonna. Maybe they'll put them all up when the first episode comes out.
You know what I think it is? I think they forgot.
Probably. I mean, these aren't exactly showstoppers. Yeah, no, they're too focused on the bird boxes and the Shabawokis. What's it called?
I heard Bird Box was bad. What Jabberwocky are you talking about?
What's the Black Mirror episode? Bandersnatch. Sorry.
Oh!
What did I say?
Jabberwocky. Did you try that? I obviously, because I don't do the Netflix thing.
Yeah, I did. I did watch it. It got a little too up its ass.
Oh, okay.
That's the simplest way of explaining it. It's like a little too on the nose, with like it's interesting. It's interesting the way they've kind of structured it, but the story itself was pretty mediocre.
Okay, that sounds about more or less what I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they really went heavy on making the choose your own adventure thing part of the story, and that's fine for a Black Mirror episode because it's like, you know, you're choosing the story, and it's about a guy getting his story chosen, you know, and he starts realizing it, but it's just a bit. Oh, fuck.
Think about Black Mirror. You didn't tell me how funny that Bryce Dallas Howard episode was going to be.
Which one?
It's the one where she's trying to get likes all the time on the future social network, and she winds up at that fucking birthday or wedding or whatever, and she's got the little doll. She's, I'm going to cut his head off and shove it up my ass.
I haven't actually seen that full episode. I saw little bits of it, but I didn't actually see the full episode, so that's why I didn't tell you.
Spoilers. Well, it was very good. I liked it.
Did you see the one? Did you see the one where the guy is like trying out this new VR game in like a spooky house?
No, I haven't seen that.
I've heard a lot of people don't like that one, but I thought that was kind of cool. But it ended in like a kind of obvious way. It's like, oh, he died in the machine. Or, yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember.
Interesting.
I'll just spoil it for you. But,
I'm very interested in VR and VR tech.
Anyway, there's 4 minisodes, 15 minutes each. Runaway, it's about Tilly and some alien on the ship.
Yeah.
Calypso, it's about a criminal man who gets picked up by a spaceship with an AI.
Wow, I missed the criminal part. I thought he was just a...
Wasn't he a criminal?
Oh, I thought he was an escapee. He was in an escape pod. You don't give escape pods
Escapee
to
from where?
Good point.
No, I just assumed he had like because he was.
Yeah.
No, not because he's black. I know that's what you're thinking.
This was not. Stop putting these thoughts in my head.
I
No,
just
I'm just wondering if
escape
I'm...
pod. Sorry, I thought it was like a prison pod or something.
Well, I thought it was an escape pod, like he escaped from the war or something.
Oh yeah, he escaped from the war. Okay, maybe he was a prisoner from the aliens. I don't know.
It's things like this that make me think I might have a comprehension problem, because after a first viewing of something, I always seem to miss the damn point. I had no idea if he's a prisoner or not. Like, I mean, I don't know if he is or isn't, but the point is, I can't tell you if he is or isn't. You might be right.
You know, you're probably right, because he had like a whole catalogue of shows to watch. And they usually do that with prisoners.
Yeah.
So forgive
Welcome.
me.
Welcome to your life punishment. By the way, here's Betty Poop.
Yeah. Anyway, The Brightest Star. It's about Saru finding his way onto the Shinzo. And what?
The ship's called Shinzo, and she is called
Giorgio.
Isn't
the ship? Sorry, I just guessed that. Just based on my memory of the first episode that I watched 1,000 years ago. The ship's called the Shinzo, right?
Yeah, it is. I've been calling her Shinzo in my notes. Never mind.
Jesus Christ. All right, I'm glad I'm not the most racist one. And the fourth episode is The Escape Artist, which had Harry Mudd being a trickster.
It also had David Franco, I think.
Dave Franco?
Sorry.
His name's not David Franco.
Isn't it?
No.
James Franco?
It's Dave Franco. His name is Dave.
Oh, okay. Right,
you don't have to say David Franco. That's not his name.
A classic Harry Mudd jaunt condensed down to 15 minutes.
Wait, sorry. Who do you think Dave Franco was in this episode?
Escape Artist. That movie about what's his face? Tommy Wiseau.
Oh.
I was just making a shit.
Okay, sorry. I thought you meant one of the actors looked like Dave Franco. I was like, I missed that.
I don't even want to tell you how much tea I've been drinking today, trying to wake up a little bit in case we did this, and it's not working. I just feel so fucking.
That's fine. But anyway,
it's okay.
That's the order in which they aired, month by month. I think they started in September, and then they went October, November, December, January. And
well, that's the order I watched them in. So
yes, that's the order I watched them in. I thought there might be an issue watching them out of order, but there wasn't.
Yeah,
there was no.
Did you have any? Did you have any anxiety about missing an episode? Because when I was trying to find all the torrents, there seemed to be like the numbering was weird. Like that was number 5 when there was only 4 of them and shit like that.
Well, you told me there were 4 episodes, and then I just looked it up, and it just said them in order. So I just
okay. All right.
Downloaded them and watched them. It wasn't too bad.
But basically, we got all the episodes.
It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad?
It wasn't too bad, actually, downloading them. I didn't have any anxiety at all about it.
Okay, good.
In other news, season 2 of Discovery is starting in 3 days. That's pretty much why we're doing this now. We just realized it's starting in about 3 days, and I thought we better actually jump on it.
We ran out of time to do TOS.
Yeah, that might have to wait until after Discovery season 2.
All right, let's get into these fucking things, David. You want to talk about Runaway? It's your favorite Traveling Wilburys recording.
It actually is. Like,
I hate that.
Okay, look, if you listen to every different version of Runaway, the best version is the Traveling Wilburys version. It's got Jeff Lynne singing on it. It's like ELO covering Runaway.
It's not a great song, though.
You don't
I don't think I've ever liked it. No, I don't think I do. Wow. Yeah. Fucking cry to someone else.
Cry me a river.
Okay.
All right.
What do you think of this first mini-sode, David?
My first note on this mini-sode. First off, I want to say, okay, thinking about this, I'm pretty sure this is the weakest one out of all 3. All 4. Do you agree with that?
Okay.
Actually, maybe second. Sorry, second weakest. It's ranked 3rd in all 4. Okay.
All right. Yeah, I found it weaker. I don't know if I could rank it, but why do you feel that way, David?
Well, okay. First off, it looks like Tilly was like the actress that played Tilly, it looks like she was in the middle of a bender and they decided they were going to film this and they just dragged her out of mothballs.
She did look kind of rough.
It's like I don't think she was prepared to start acting suddenly.
Yeah.
But I mean, she did the character. That's the thing. It's like she did the thing that she's being paid to do. I don't know. I can't really criticize her or anything. She just did what she's paid to do.
Yeah.
And she played the character as they wrote it, and that's fine. I think the issue about a 15-minute episode is that it's too short to compact a whole bunch of like progressive sci-fi allegories, if you get what I mean. It's like, oh, we have to protect our planet, we have to save the planet. Or, I can't remember what happened in the episode, basically. But it felt like too compressed, and they were trying to do too much in that tiny time.
Yeah, the fact is, the story they tried to tell was that she met the Queen, who got coronation jitters, who was also, like, invented free energy, basically, for her planet. So she was a big threat to big petroleum or whatever, They're throwing a lot of stuff in there very quickly, and it was only 15 minutes long, and I don't know, it's kind of a big subject matter they're trying to broach. And they
had this whole thing where, like, Tilly was, like, connecting with her because she's not understood either by her parents, which they had to shove that conversation in right at the start so you understood that. I don't know, it just felt like that could have been like a normal Star Trek episode, maybe not a Discovery episode, but a Star Trek episode, and they kind of squished it into it wasn't even 15 minutes, it was like 12 minutes with 3 minutes of previews at the end.
It happened in two of these minisodes. Basically, the character of the week, sort of guest character, guest focus. They portray them as just these idiots for the first 5 to 10 minutes. I don't know, because they have to for story necessity. With Tilly, this person is royalty. She invented a way to save dilithium crystals.
Yep.
She's all these things, and a fountain of wisdom. Mm-hmm. But she's also crawling around sickbay, eating whatever she can find, just like grunting, kind of.
That's the thing. Like, 15 minutes is not long enough to have a story where you find this savage young woman, and then you kind of work a trust with her, and then find out that she's actually the queen, which is such a tired fucking twist. I hate that twist. I was like, oh, actually, I'm the queen of my planet. It's like, fuck off.
The old bait and switch. It didn't work for me. No, I just it's something that annoyed me today, but it's not unique to Discovery, where it's always. I mean, she was seconds away from just wiping her ass on the fucking cafeteria floor. I don't know.
You don't like a savage beast?
Moana kind of turned me off them. I haven't seen Moana. You haven't seen
Moana? I know you haven't seen Moana because you just said that.
What's it about? What happened? No, I don't want to
know. It's about The Rock.
I will tell you one thing I really did like about this guest character.
Yeah.
When they fired up the Universal Translator, she sounded like female Kylo Ren.
Did she?
I built it. I invented a translator. I invented this. I saved lithium crystals, but she was doing like a female impersonation of Kylo Ren. It was really good.
Oh, you like that? You like it? I like a little bit of Adam Driver.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine if like one episode in season 2, the bad guy is just Adam Driver? Imagine him showing up in Star Trek.
I'd be unrepentantly happy about it.
I'd come right in my pants.
For me to.
Sorry.
I mean, you would. Speaking of cum, it's interesting how when I think it was the alien got hurt while she was in predator mode, and she started to leak like lava everywhere.
Yeah.
And she got a magma cum loudly all over Tilly. Bam.
I don't like when
Scotty makes shit jokes.
Yeah, no, I don't like when a Starfleet officer finds some sort of mysterious goop on the ground and she just touches it. Just sticks her fingers in it.
Just gives it the taste test. Fucking...
Yeah, it's like, oh, what is this, sherbet? No, you idiot. You just killed yourself.
I mean...
Yeah, anyway. I don't know. Like I said, I think this was like the third... in the ranking 1 to 4, this is probably third. And it was like, Okay.
You know, we mentioned Black Mirror before. It actually, when you take the focus off actually important characters and plots, Discovery kind of feels like it could just be a random episode of Black Mirror that's set in space. Like,
well, we can get to that in the next.
It's because it's very bleak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially in the next one, it really has no important characters in it. So
yeah.
I did like Tilly's desktop Jupiter. I think that should be on the Roddenberry store.
I didn't see that.
She's a little. I did. I spot these things.
I'm always on the lookout for Jupiter, king of the planets.
But yeah, ultimately, you know, this little, you know, what is she? Hawaiian, Polynesian tramp, basically. I didn't care much for her story. A little urchin. But
there didn't seem to be any consequence. Like, what even happened?
I mean, I don't know. As a cutesy kind of little tidbit for the fans to watch between seasons, I mean, it's certainly more of a bone than has been tossed towards us at any other point. I mean,
well, sure.
We didn't get, you know, 15-minute episodes with Seven and Tom Paris hanging out. Like, I would have killed for that back in the day.
They probably did.
And for the price of
right?
entry, considering I torrented it. Oh,
they probably did ads for what was it, CBS? They were like, "Hey, weeknights at 8, Star Trek Voyager." No,
that doesn't count. It's like the Riker thing when he sells that data management software, and he's just a little 10-minute commercial.
You're a new enterprise.
That's kind of like a.
It's like bonus Star Trek, yeah.
But
no. I mean, what actually happened? She came onto the ship.
Yeah.
She said that she invented free energy, and then she left. Yeah. Did Tilly actually do anything for her?
Yeah, there wasn't much of a moral quandary. She was kind of on the run, didn't really want to be the queen, and at some point they talk each other up, and it works somehow. And she's like, "All right, I'll go back and my country is my
nothing
queen."
Really happens. It's just a pep talk for Tilly, and then she leaves. Anyway,
I think I am open to the idea, roughly, of 15-minute episodes of Discovery because it's far more respectful of my time than the actual show. Because really, I mean, these full-length episodes, especially when it's a bad one, it really does feel like an insult. But anyway,
some of them were, yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, it's not too bad. Oh, there was one thing I did notice she said. What? There was one line where she's talking to Tilly about being the queen. I didn't tell you I was the queen because people hear the word queen and stop listening, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly how you feel. Ever since this Bohemian Rhapsody thing came out, it's kind of like you mention queen and the eyes just kind of glaze over, and there's always the same reaction. Oh.
you say to people, "Oh, I'm in a Queen cover band," and they go, "Oh, like the movie?" And you go,
"Oh yeah, like the movie?"
No, no, wait.
Yeah, you know, the guy. I saw that movie, and he sounded a lot like Freddie. Pretty cool, huh?
He did sound like Freddie when he was singing, because they just used his voice.
He sounded like slow motion Freddie in the rest of the scenes. He's like, "Darlings, I just want to go back to the studio and do a couple more Galileos."
It's like if they told Rami Malek to play him like an alien who doesn't belong in this land.
The trailer for Bohemian Rhapsody really made me think there was going to be a lot more Rabid Malek, where he's trying to bite the other members of the band and crawl up the furniture and just really be just a chipmunk, a little bundle of energy.
I want a lot of those scenes where Frodo's showing Bilbo the ring, and he goes, "Ah!"
I wanted that from Freddie Mercury. I wanted him to go
fucking... we both know a lot more about the story than the average moviegoer. Because obviously we love Queen. We're all in on the biographies. He did that all the time.
Exactly. He was a biter. Freddie Mercury. Yeah.
Brian May always wore big, those big police suits where they train the dogs.
That Hessian, that carpet shit that the
like
teeth
they're
can't
running around going, "Oh," and the dogs bite him.
Oh, what the fuck?
What?
Oh, my PNG just came up. Skype does this weird thing where it brings it up like an hour after you send it to someone. Anyway,
nice. Anyway, so that's that episode.
Do you still have Brent Kavanaugh queued up, or is he out of the game?
No, because I have to go over here. I don't know how to get it. Scotty sent me an image on Skype before, and it was just a thing to divide the screen up. And then I tried to get out of it, and it just sent me to the previous image, which was just a picture of Brett Kavanaugh being angry. Hang on, where is it? We go.
We're doing a politics podcast interlude here.
There he is.
It's so mad.
I like beer. Whoa, I like the transparency. That was good. Hang on. He's here with us, Brett. Sorry. It's good.
When it turns back into me, I get shocked.
Yeah. It's like you are him.
I've been drunk, but I haven't been Kavanaugh drunk.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, Calypso.
This is the
How do you feel about
episode
this
where a prisoner of war, not a criminal. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know what an SKP. I thought he was going to be one of the genetic supermen from Khan. I'm so glad he wasn't.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's just
because he was watching Betty.
Demeanor. He was all like, "Buh, buh, oh, what are you doing?" I just assumed he was like a bad guy, but I guess not. Anyway,
yeah.
Calypso is about this guy. He's in some sort of war with another race. It's a 10-year war, which isn't that long considering. I mean,
wait.
We've had
the war
wars
was
that have
10
been
years.
almost 10 years. Yeah, what?
Well, the war was 10 years, or he was in the pod for 10 years, or both. So he was like a 20-year. I mean, what's the time?
I thought they said, wasn't he showing a picture of his daughter? And he was like, "This is 10 years ago, before the war." And she goes, "The war went on for 10 years?" Or something like that. Yeah. Anyway,
all right.
He gets tracked by the USS Discovery. So
okay.
The namesake of the show. Turns out there's nobody on the Discovery. There's just an AI played by Scarlett Johansson. No. Not Scarlett Johansson. Played by some person.
Some bitch. So basically, the premise is that the AI of the Discovery has been sitting there, and it installed itself into a wall Roomba, I guess, and has been evolving for 1,000 years, just becoming more and more advanced.
Yeah, I didn't see those on the ship before. I guess it just, 1,000 years.
I had to say, it was pretty easy to guess where this episode was going because right from the get-go, she was putting on some serious vocal fry, some kind of real seduction technique.
It was very Scarlett Johansson. I was like, oh. Oh, I just woke you up.
Baby.
Oh. This episode, I feel like it's a bit of a waste to do it as a Star Trek episode. Like, I think as a full-length Star Trek episode, this would have been a good episode. And I think as a full-length movie, separated from Star Trek, this could have been a really great movie. It kind of felt like a mix between like Wall-E and her with Scarlett Johansson. Wall-E just because they were watching the old music and stuff and dancing to it.
Basically, I reckon these guys have had roundtable story meetings and they've come up with some premises, and these are the ones they couldn't jam into the fucking awful overarching anthology story. How do we work this into the whole Lorca's really a mirror guy thing? We can't. Oh, well, what do we do with it?
It's like they had that story about the planet that was alive of spores, and they fit that in the story somehow. But not this one.
Oh, yeah. That's kind of... I wish you hadn't reminded me about that. I forgot about that episode.
No, but in terms of like an actual story, I thought this was... I mean, it is a little bit derivative of like her, I guess.
Yeah.
And a little bit Wall-E just because of them watching the old movies and stuff. But I thought it would have been a really good movie. And it would have been a really good full-length Star Trek episode if they were deciding to do that as just like a standalone, like they did with the old Star Treks, where they just had a standalone episode where everything's different, So I did really enjoy it.
You might not know this, but are these canonical, or like are they in the continuity?
I would assume this is some sort of mirror universe.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it canonical,
or like
because.
Or Discovery got cloned like in that Voyager episode, but it's just been flying around in the galaxy for 1,000 years.
Yeah, this is the Goop Discovery.
Yeah.
I think if they had like a slightly more charismatic main actor, and if it was longer, because again, 15 minutes, she's putting on airs as soon as she wakes up, as soon as she starts talking to him, you can tell what's going to happen. It's like if that was stretched out over a little bit longer of a movie, that'd be great. But
I can't complain too much because there have been points where, and I've already raised this point, where I just want Discovery to pick it up a little bit, don't waste so much of my fucking life, get to the point. And obviously with the 15-minute episodes, they're probably doing that too much. But then again, I did ask for it. I did say, can you guys get to the point? So
the thing is, this isn't Discovery getting to the point. Again, this feels like a completely different thing. This doesn't feel like Discovery.
Really does. Well, this one especially, because there was zero connection to the actual show. I mean, it was just set on a ship called Discovery that had the same sets. I mean, really, what else was there?
I mean, it's a cost-saving measure. This is one young writer. One young writer on the team was like, I've got this great idea for a movie, but nobody wants to make it. And they were like, all right.
And I just... they did that thing again, and it feels... The character at the start of the episode, he's not like a particularly intelligent kind of... He's just ransacking the sickbay like it's a game of DayZ.
Well, I
and
mean,
then later on you find out he's
10
actually...
years.
Then you find out he's a sensitive soul, though he seemed thick-skinned, and I don't know.
He has been in a war for 10 years, Scotty.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is 2 episodes, two for 2, they had the same intro for a character. Ooh, I'm ransacking, actually, I'm quite...
Yeah. Again,
it's like,
it's a 15-minute conundrum.
Yeah,
trying to fit a big story into 15 minutes.
I have to say, why don't we have disco shirts yet? We've had time.
Why do they say disco? Like I was looking at him in the disco show. I was like, why did they do that again? Why didn't they just say Discovery on it?
Yeah,
it's not like they don't know what disco is.
I didn't dislike the episode as a whole. I liked it better than the Tilly one.
Yeah, and it had some cute moments, like the dialogue at the end wasn't terrible. Like, would you tell me your real name? And it's like, if you were my lover on my home planet, you would give me my name. And she's like, oh, I already did.
I liked that worked for me at the ending with the classical big band movie outro music, and that all worked for me. I did kind of laugh because the whole episode I was trying to figure out what to call this guy sarcastically in the notes.
Yeah.
And then right at the end, as a going away present, she 3D prints him a Black Panther outfit. And I'm like, of course, there he is.
Did she?
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't think of too many other comparisons. Maybe like a luge or bobsledding kind of Winter Olympics suit. I don't know what the fuck you call it.
I feel like it was familiar. Did they wear that in Discovery at some point? That
maybe in the when they formed that bobsled team. No, I don't know. To me, it looks like Black Panther. Watch it again, and maybe minus some bone motif. It's basically the same thing.
Okay. But a little less Kendrick Lamar as well.
I actually downloaded the 16-minute version where he returns home to find out that his planet had been taken over by 700-foot crabs that planted eggs in his wife's ass.
Kind of ruins the romantic ending, doesn't it?
Well, I'm returning to my wife now. He comes home.
So the holograms are dancing, and it says sometime later, and he crash lands. And
the planet's been taken over by giant Into the Breach fucking insectoids.
Hey, they just released that on Switch. I bought it and I haven't played it yet.
Isn't that weird when you buy a game and don't play it for like I've got so many of them.
I mean, I buy a game on a different platform to the one that I already owned it on, and I've already played the game, and I'm probably not going to play it anytime soon. That's most of the games that I got on Switch.
There's visions of David with his little Switch at work.
I mean, I bought Hollow Knight. I bought both the Overcooked games. Pretty much all the games I have on Switch are just games that I want to play sitting on my butt somewhere else. Because sitting at the computer is a hassle.
The Switch must be big business by now.
Oh, it's big business. I think one issue that it has, or at least that I've had with it, is you know how it's got the console as like the little handheld screen.
Yeah.
And then it's got the controllers that you slide onto each side, and then you hold it like a handheld.
Yeah.
The controllers, they lose like their lock basically, so you can just kind of push them and they just go like they come undone.
Oh shit!
But you're supposed to hold down the button and then slide it off, like to unlatch it. But the latch is like fucked.
So is it like a bad build quality kind of thing, or what?
Yeah, I mean, I got it relatively early in the life cycle. Yeah, I know. Don't worry, Scotty. I knew exactly how that sounded.
Yeah, no. I mean, these gadgets break down so soon. I mean, I've been trying to get my Oculus Rift working, but I can't seem to get the VR.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like it's a little bit cheaper made than it should be. I would like to like, I don't know if they make solid metal versions of those little Joy-Cons, the little controllers, but just give me a fucking solid.
That might be a boutique kind of item that you have to pay more. Yeah. Anyway, well, so how do you feel about Calypso? A good one? A bad one?
Calypso, I would say. Oh, hang on. Wait, did I say Runaway was the third ranked?
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay.
Worst or third, maybe. I don't know. There's only 4 of them.
I said third. Yeah, no, this limits my options a little bit. It was probably first.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I might have said second.
What would you say? Second?
I might go with second, to be honest.
Okay, I mean it's very close. I'll let you know it's very close.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what I was going to say is ranking them when there's only 4 of them. I mean, they could all be kind of the same quality. There's no shame in being fourth.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, you're still podium.
Like I would probably
unless you're fourth.
You're the guy next to the podium. No, I mean I don't know if I'd make the Tilly one fourth or the next one that we're going to talk about. I don't know.
Okay. Well, at least I know they're on the same.
It's kind of tough.
The next one,
because the next one is about my favorite actor and character in the show. Oh, you would think that would be the best one, but I have some problems. But you take it away.
So the brightest star. Is about Saru on his home planet. I did actually look up because I wanted to know, like, does this conflict with what they've already explained about the Kelpians? Because like some of it felt a little bit weird. Like I don't know if this like actually meshed with what they said previously. And the issue is, if I look it up on a wiki, they've already updated the wiki with all this stuff. So this is now canon. I don't know. I'd have to go back and actually rewatch the show, which I don't want to do. So. As far as I know, it's canon, but
I got the sense that he was kind of like Guinan's race, like they'd been chased off their homeworlds. But then I don't know if that's from the Mirror episodes or I do know that his species has the most useless superpower, which is we sense danger, we sense death,
we sense the coming of death.
That's so useless on a world where they basically it's feeding day. Everyone crawl off to the No Man's Sky fucking monument and get in.
It doesn't seem to work. Like
the whole episode, no one's threat gangly. How poignant would it have been?
They had him out. Like when they were about to get abducted, but
I didn't see that.
They didn't really take heed.
I mean, this is kind of the Schindler's List of Kelpian sort of feature films where they all wander off to the obelisk and the family stands there, they're all holding hands. Well, will we be together in the next world? I don't know, Father. And then poof, they're magicked out of existence.
Well, I think what happens is they get teleported up to the ship. And then they're on that cattle line that like cuts their heads off.
It's that thing that injects the projectile into the back of the neck.
Yeah, basically.
Stuns them.
No, my issue was my thought. That's why I looked it up. Was I thought they were like hunted, but then I also remember him saying they were like bred like cattle.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It was all a little bit confusing. Now I know that they were set in little camps, and then they had like religious Kelpians trained to send them off to get eaten or something. I don't know why that
harvesting time.
Yeah, I don't know why that guy was so intent. I mean, it's a religion, obviously, but like, I didn't get any religious aspects from what he said in the actual show. Is my main issue.
Yeah.
But I mean,
he seemed to be a little bit of a hard ass, I think.
What, the priest?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, did you see the scene where he was playing Monopoly with his friends? Saru walks in and the guy's like, hey, doubles.
I kind of liked how from above it looked like a little classic Warcraft orc village with the little domes. And
yeah.
I kind of liked it. A good starter base, a couple of farms.
I don't know.
No barracks yet, but
I feel like it doesn't mesh with. Like, this is really nitpicky, but I don't know. I don't imagine the Kelpians being in like little huts. Like, I don't know. It's just, it seems like very generic for a race that is kind of unique in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah, I don't know. And they all walk around in those Lady Gaga heels, the ones without the, without the actual heel. It's kind of weird.
What? You just mean
You
their
have to-
legs?
They have weird little feet that stick up at the back. It's kind of weird.
Oh, okay. Did you also notice that the girl that Saru's sister, her prosthetics were not as good?
Sister? You mean wife?
No, it was a sister.
Oh, was that his sister, was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to just turn.
She said the word brother.
Alright.
I think she said brother at some point.
Okay, yeah. Alright.
No, I just
Corrected.
changed that. Oh, this joke doesn't work anymore. Damn it!
No, it's cool. Alright. No, I mean, how do I
her
feel?
prosthetics were like pretty good up until they got to her jaw, and then the bottom of her jaw was basically just human. I don't know. It was weird.
I did kind of think, to be honest, a thing like this just made me think of the Mirror Universe and how easy it would have been for Shenzo to turn up and eat the kelp. Because she's got like a taste for kelpians in the Mirror Universe. How easy would it have been for her to just land there and co-opt their existing philosophy, which seems to be go towards the giant, whatever the fuck that thing was, and just hop in. It's feeding time. Like,
well, I mean, maybe that's what happened. Maybe in the Mirror Universe, Saru makes a transmission. He gets Mirror Giorgio to come down, and she brings a knife and fork, and she's ready.
Well, I want to see that. Is my point. Like in a roundabout way, instead of like the obelisk, it's just a giant Chinese takeaway box with the red picturing of.
It just folds him up and then goes and takes it over to the ship.
I have to tell you, when Michelle Yeoh does come down from the sky to talk to Saru for the first time, and they turn on the Universal Translator, I don't think it was working. It wasn't working because I really tried to understand what she was saying through those dentures that she wears, but I just couldn't fucking.
I did write this down as well. Obviously, I understood what she was saying, but she stumbles through these fucking words. I don't think she's a good actor.
Yeah.
Like, I
really don't.
I don't understand.
There are people that are just assumed to be awesome because they've been around forever.
Yeah.
I think for me, maybe Chevy Chase was one of them because he's been in a couple of my favorite comedies. So
okay, yeah.
And then I found out that David hated Chevy Chase. So I'm like, what's wrong with him? He's awesome. He's great. And then I thought about it for a while. I was like, oh yeah, he's just some fucking old drug addict, and he's probably a jerk. And fuck Chevy Chase. It's not like he's making any more Three Amigos movies. I don't need him anymore. And it's the same with Michelle Yeoh. So what? She was in a Bond movie. Those were the days. But look at her. She's a mess. She can barely talk.
She's a mess. No, it's like there was a few words there where she was like, it's amazing that a Kelpian like you managed to manipulate technology. You have to be able to say words to be in. Like, you're not. If you can't pronounce the words, you're not a good actress.
I mean, it's all. It's like, I think they just asked
like the fucking Diego Luna from Rogue One.
They're doing the same thing with Diego Luna. Michelle Yeoh might have been fine in the first 2 episodes as Michael Burnham's mentor, who gets tragically cut down. Oh no, it's sad.
Yes.
And maybe you meet her in the Mirror Universe for some complications, but then you don't bring her back in a shady Section 31 bloody subplot where she's going to be working for the CIA. You don't bring her back for season 2. You fucking sure as hell don't give her own show.
We're going to talk about that later. After we're done with this episode. I mean, I do want to mention it a little bit now. She's getting her own spin-off.
I am so angry.
About Mirror Giorgio.
I am so mad about that.
Working for Section 31.
Hold me back! Fucking hold me back!
No, Scotty, not yet. I'll let you unleash the anger later on.
But the same thing's happening with Diego Luna. Like, the weak link of Rogue One is getting his own show. I don't understand. And Pedro Pascal is in it, and they're the same guy. How is that going to work? Are they both from the same space?
I don't know if Pedro Pascal is the same guy as Diego Luna. Are you sure?
Hey, we are both from Madrid. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, sorry. How'd you feel about the little
baby?
I'm putting it near the bottom with Runaway because it's my favorite actor and character, but I don't know, the kind of episode left me limp. I don't buy the whole, well, we'll make an exception. Yeah, we'll make an exception so we can pick you up. At the Prime Directive's not so big on exceptions. I mean, it is, but it shouldn't be. Like, just because old Star Trek did it a lot doesn't mean you need to. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it fits in with, like, the kind of story that they would... Because he doesn't know any of his... He doesn't have any of his people around in the show. Yeah. I think was that a thing that he said? I don't have any friends.
Kelpians aren't common, was the sense that I got. But again, I might be picking up on the
pre-warp civilization. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, he can't go back for them because of. Oh, jeez, he's gonna be waiting forever for them to invent warp drive.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Anyway, considering I put Runaway as. Nah, you know what? Runaway's the fourth. This is the third one.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I put Runaway as third.
Well, Runaway sucks because it's got this woman that, they just invented warp drive and she's coming in like Jumanji, just trying to eat the furniture.
They just invented warp drive. And then she also invents free energy.
Yeah.
She can pull dilithium crystals out of her ass.
Yeah,
and somehow they just invented warp drive. Come on.
Clearly haven't invented napkins yet, or cutlery. Oh, what is this, ice cream? Oh, I'll lick it off myself. That's what people do, isn't it? I guess it's a dichotomy, because she's an advanced alien, but she's 17. Fuck off.
Can you imagine a human scientist being captured, or like going to an alien spaceship and just... just getting real mad.
Yeah, they captured Niels Bohr and Albert Einstein, and they're doing shit finger paintings on their cell wall.
Yeah, they're fucking climbing.
I'm playing it up a little. I don't have that much of a violent reaction in this episode, but it did kind of get on my nerves. So I don't know.
Like, I get like the whole religion is bad. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I turn you off for a second. Hang on.
Brett Kavanaugh.
Oh wait, no, I can't. Oh no, that's me. Oh. There you go.
I know. Trust me, I'm all up for a bit of atheism, but I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it's the third worst one. No, it's the third best one. It's on the podium for me. Yeah. And Runaway has been pushed down to fourth. That Runaway is the one that passes them the champagne. And
the local
gets sprayed with it as they stand there with no medal.
They try to leave the podium early, but then here it comes.
Okay, so that's that episode. The last episode is The Escape Artist, where Harry Mudd makes his return, Rainn Wilson, and he gets up to a little bit of mischief with one of those pigmen. Really cool.
Yeah. Tellarites. Classic Tellarites.
He was a very trim Tellarite. Usually they're big and fat, aren't they?
Yeah, he was. Kind of, but not like obscenely fat. I had a problem with the Tellarite. I mean, this is a small thing, but all of the aliens in Star Trek have been up-resed, upgraded, brought into HD. But they've all gotten much dirtier and slimier, hard to look at. I don't know why a Tellarite can't just be... Like, why can't he be in a suit?
Why can't he have a shower?
The Tellarites in TOS, they were pigmen, but they weren't, like...
They're not savages.
They didn't come straight from the fucking... I guess this is 3 episodes out of 4. 4 if you include the fact that Sarah is a villager on the planet fucking Basket Weave. But... I don't know where I'm going with that. But I'm just saying, why are the aliens all so goddamn povo, is what I mean. Like, the Tellarite has a ship of his own. He's got a goddamn spaceship.
He must have a shower on that ship somewhere.
It looks like he's been rolling around in the lubricants and the oils that keep the thing running, and I just don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a cliche. He's a big pig man. He's a trader. And they're just junkers, and the ships look like shit. But
I mean, you just look at the Tellarites from TOS.
Take a vacuum, take a little duster, and just clean up a little bit.
Not every alien needs to look goddamn disgusting. Yeah. But then I did have a later in the episode. I immediately hit the other side of that coin, where the Orions, the green people, were just people but green, and I thought, oh, hang on,
These people aren't dirty enough. These are just
maybe.
humans.
Well, it's not even dirt. It's just the fact that they literally are just green people. Like, and I couldn't figure out who the male Orion looked like.
For a second, I can't remember what he looks like. I did get a hint of like a certain actor. I thought maybe it was Shazad Latif in green, like as a cameo.
Oh, it's like kind of a gag. That would have been cool. Yeah, and I speak like Fandango.
Anyway, this episode, look, the thing about Rainn Wilson, one of my favorite episodes of season 1 was the one that he was in, because it was a real Star Trek episode. It was a fun Star Trek episode. I think he does a good job. You know, it's like, it's annoying to have a character come back from TOS and like revamp him and stuff, but he does a fine job with it, and I think he does a fine job here as well.
I think he probably overqualified for the job. I haven't seen him in too much, but he's pretty damn good. I was turned off the concept of him very early on because I saw a behind the scenes thing where he's like, well, this is Mud, but not quite as you know him. I'm modernizing it and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh, crap, here we go. But then his episode is pretty good. And, I mean, and this one's probably my favorite out of these 4. I don't know.
I put Calypso a second, so I guess this is my favorite one,
Yeah. This is just the one that gets it. It's not really any better, but it's just, it's the last one.
Well, they're really close. But this one is a little more fun. I think Calypso would have made a really good movie, but this is like just a fun Star Trek little jaunt.
This one gave me more to laugh about. The alien, I don't know if the Tellarite was like this from the very start, but he seemed to get more piratey as it went on, and more like pro wrestler. Like he's so Hulk Hogan or Val Venus. He's delivering all this something to talk about during our journey, and he's putting the voice on, and I like that.
Bonesaw is ready. I got you for 3 minutes. Oh, is it 3 minutes?
Yeah, his line.
3 minutes. Sorry, 3 minutes.
Has that line ever worked on anyone? And he starts laughing at Harry Mudd. It's pretty good stuff. Latinum. They said Latinum, David.
They said Latinum a whole bunch. Is there an issue with the law with that?
David, oh, do you transfer it to my account or do I get it in one big bar? See, I like it. It's good.
I do like the Harry Mudd kind of pretending to be inept person, and then he's actually doing something smart. And the twist at the end was pretty good, and it was funny the way all the clones were saying the same thing. I don't know. It's just a good episode.
I really that played very well. I like it. It's a bit of a callback to original series where it wasn't a bunch of mud robots. It was the robots that he found on that planet, and they were the duplicates. He spent the plot was he was going to spend eternity with copies of his wife just everywhere, like haranguing him. But now in this universe, he's the guy making the clones. It's good little swapperoonie.
Only issue I have, is that it messes with the lore a little bit. I don't think they had androids that were that advanced. Obviously, they were programmed to do a certain function. And when they got to the end of their function, they ceased to function. They're all standing there repeating the same line. But come on, I mean, they only just invented Noonien. Noonien Sung only just invented the prototype of Data. I don't really care. Sorry.
Do you reckon there's any Star Trek podcasts where they do kind of?
Of course.
I mean, they must. My yardstick for how much I hate Star Trek podcasting is Trek Yards.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about this. Every time we get lazy, stop making episodes, and then start again, I'm going to bring this up. Yeah. This is a show where grown men talk about ships, and 99% of the episodes, the ships haven't even been in the show.
Hey guys, today we're talking about the Valiant, not the Defiant. They think it looks like the Defiant. I'm actually going to cover up the name there. This is actually the Valiant. It came up in one episode of Deep Space Nine, where Red Squad. No, I mean,
I'm going to be mature enough to give them a respect for doing it, because maybe there was a period of time where they were putting up episodes and only 50 people were watching them. And it was hard, but they kept on going. Maybe.
Of course.
But
no, I have to respect anyone who actually. What? Sorry. It's all right. Tough little shit.
But at the same time, I'm kind of mad See how gravity sent the ship off the Earth and not just in the middle?
Yeah. You think water sticks to
Interesting,
the
that.
side of a ball?
But I don't know. But at the same time, it is just a show where they talk about ships. And they talk about the warp core. I mean, how is that fair? Come on.
There's only so much to talk about, and all that shit doesn't actually matter.
Here's it. I can tell you how the warp core works. It works however the story needs it to work, and that goes for all Star Trek technology. Next.
See, Scotty, the thing you don't know about the USS Prometheus, which was the featured in one episode of Voyager, Message in a Bottle, is that it has 4 engines, right? And it splits into 3 different sections of the ship. So 2 of them can go to warp, obviously, because they have engines. They have the 2 pylons. One of them doesn't, and that proves to be an issue. If for some reason the ship can't join back together and go to warp. Luckily,
as happens in the episode.
Luckily, only the families live on that section, so it's fine.
Isn't that like the galaxy with the saucer?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Sure. Sure. I believe you.
Anyway, no, I didn't want to heap scorn on Trek Yards. They do great work over there, but at the same time, it is kind of insulting when you just want to have a show where you talk about Star Trek, and I mean,
I don't know if it's insulting. It's just amusing. But we shouldn't sit here talking about other Star Trek podcasts like they're bad.
No, actually, see, that's where you're wrong.
We should.
We're doing a 180 where at the end of every episode, I will be reviewing somebody else's podcast. So that'll be another great segment coming up on the Federation Conversation.
Okay.
No, anyway.
Can we talk about that offline? No, okay.
Escape Artist. I loved one of them was wearing the epaulets, which is good.
Who? Sorry?
Harry Mudd was dressed up like a space buccaneer in one of the episodes.
Oh, yeah.
So it was good that they had that in there. And really, no, at least it had some sense of fun. When he pulls the arm off and there's blood everywhere. And the space pirate Tellarite was cool. I mean, it's as good as short Discovery's Trek is likely to get, I think.
There you go.
I don't know.
And that was the best one out of the 4 for both of us. Although I think Calypso was a close. I think it wasted its potential a little bit by being 15 minutes long. And
yeah. I think Calypso I think got shafted by the constraints of the time constraints. But
and the fact that it had to be related to Star Trek.
Yeah, they should have just put it out as I'm not going to tell them how to do their jobs.
No, they should have just waited and just released it as part of the season. Just as a solo episode. I know it doesn't flow well with the way that they're doing Discovery, where they have this long story. Just have a single episode where something like that happens, and it's like it'll be one of the standout episodes of Discovery. Everyone will love it. It's a contained story. It'll be on the top 20 best Star Trek episodes for the rest of time. It's easy. Yeah. Anyway.
I really dislike the Discovery thing of putting all their chips on the one story for the season, and the story sucks.
Yeah.
But we'll have plenty of time to talk about that as this next season comes out.
Which we should probably talk about roundabout now.
Yeah.
Because those are the 4 episodes and they were okay. They were fun.
Well, I just want to say, season 2 looks like shit to me because the whole thing is built on the weakest foundation possible, which is this stupid business of Michael Burnham being Spock's sister. I still hate that. I don't know how they're going to make it work. Because so far it hasn't, as far as I'm concerned. And she's just such a wet blanket. I hate her. She's not a good...
I railed on the show pretty hard in the last 2 episodes of season 1. First off, because they did the whole twist with the mirror universe, and it was a shit episode. And then the next episode, they ended it with the Enterprise coming. I think that something about the way that they're doing this. They're maybe they're investing too much money, or they're gambling too much money on this, and they're just pushing full steam ahead. And I feel like they're blowing their load too early.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
First off with the Enterprise and Spock
Yeah.
and Pike and
Yeah.
and Shazad Latif is already back. I saw him in the preview, which is fine. I want Shazad Latif in this film, in this series, but he just left.
No. They're smart people. Paramount or whoever owns this shit, they're doing their market research. They're like, oh, listen, this Shazad guy got great reactions. We got to bring him back. Sorry, no can do. Get him back in.
I know, but it's one of those things where they made him leave. For something that they wrote him basically out of the main story because he had to leave. He had to go off with the Klingons, and now he's all back all of a sudden. Maybe he's just back for one episode. I don't know, but they should have waited like another. I mean, I would be annoyed if they did, but in the grand scheme of things, they should have waited another season to bring him back.
I'm not going to hang too much shit on season 2 before it comes out because I mean, what's the name of the guy that plays Pike?
I don't know.
He seems like a good actor. He looks good in a suit, in the Star Trek suit.
Fine.
I'm gonna give him a go. But this whole Spock thing, I don't know. I just cannot. I don't know.
I mentioned on Reddit at some point that he looked like young Ashton Kutcher, and then somebody replied, "Actually, that's funny because he played a young Ashton Kutcher's character in that '70s show for one episode." And I was like, "Oh, really?"
Jeez, the internet. You always get the replies you don't want to get.
An issue that I have with, I mean, again, we haven't seen this. It's not out yet, obviously.
Yeah,
we're just going off the previews that have come out. His beard is so shit. It looks like my beard. No, it's Spock's beard.
Oh, okay,
Just clean it up a bit. What Vulcans have such clean cut motif just because he's a young Vulcan.
Believe he's doing the Vulcan bowl cut every day with the yak hair and taking care of it, maintaining
the neck beard a little bit. Come on.
But then the beard, he just lets it go.
And it's a little bit strict. I can't grow a beard. That's fine. I've learned to accept that. But he's on a TV show.
You can't grow a beard? You've kind of got one.
Okay, I got a lot of nervous tics and stuff where I poke at it and I was like,
Oh, okay.
If I just didn't touch it for a while, maybe it would grow into something magnificent. But I can't help myself.
Who has the time? This is my honeymoon beard. I just grew it because the woman liked it. The woman. That's how they like to be addressed. I got married and spent the last 2 months of my trip just growing a beard.
Yeah. If you watch Federation Conversation and you don't follow our other channel or social media, Scotty got married in Bulgaria.
I did. I had a big Bulgarian wedding. I was going to make a video about it, but I'm so fucking lazy and busy doing married stuff. But yeah, that's me.
Yeah, and
Can we just a quick speculation? There's going to be at least two new shows that I know about because I think they're doing an animated one as well, which is absolutely
three Star Trek shows have been basically confirmed.
Yeah,
to be in production.
We're in trouble.
Well, look, I'm never gonna.
We want to do podcasts about good Star Trek from the old days, and they keep on throwing these new shows at us. How are we going to get off the ground?
I didn't even think about what it would do to us.
We're like a pelican on the shores of the sea after there's been an oil spill, and the oil gets on his wings and he can't fly.
Shit, Scotty. I'll be honest. I didn't even think about what it would do to us in terms of this show.
Oh, I did because I'm self-obsessed and I'm selfish. That's the first thing I thought.
Look, I'm always happy for new Star. I'm never going to complain about new Star Trek, but I'm going to complain. They're blowing the load too early. Why? They've had one season, and they're making a spin-off for Michelle Yeoh. One of the weakest characters or actresses in the entire show. What are you doing?
Yeah, in a word, it's completely undeserved. She has not earned it at all.
I do not understand.
And here's the thing. The whole thing comes from a scene that I don't even think was in the actual finished show. It was like a deleted scene on Twitter or a thing you had to download, or it wasn't in the episode. But basically, one of these CIA guys comes up to Michelle Yeoh in a space bar and says, I'm from a little outfit called Section 31, and we're looking to recruit you and that kind of thing. And it's just... And that was bad enough. Because I'm watching it thinking, I don't want this to go any further. Please tell me this is like a dead end, like Darth Maul working with Emilia Clarke.
That's not a dead end, Scotty. You'll see that in Solo 2. In cinema.
The comic.
Oh, you don't think they're going to make another one?
No, not even a little one.
Okay.
But yeah,
Not even a minisode.
They've gone like the complete direction they shouldn't, which is taking this Captain Georgiou and giving her own. I mean, I don't want to watch that.
I mean,
this is the worst.
First off, we both don't like her as an actress. That's our own personal opinions, which are right. But anyway, also the character is like fucking Hitler. She's evil. Why do you want to follow that character?
She ate Saru's sister, and we're supposed to fucking suddenly buy some redemption. What is it? Is she coming good, or is she just being used by them because she's evil? I mean, there's no angle there that's interesting. I don't want to watch this.
I don't really want to watch it. I don't want to follow a show about Section 31 where a mirror universe, like, it's just too. I don't get it.
To me, what I think I said to you on Facebook or Skype or wherever was, it cheapens things.
It does cheapen things.
Star Trek got spin-offs after a couple of years. You know,
Look, 3 years and then 20 years. Yeah, 3 years of a good show and then 20 years of waiting. Yeah, we got TNG.
If not an actual DVD shelf, because less people buy DVDs now, your conceptual DVD shelf. You want to look up there and see the shows next to each other and think that belongs there, you know. I mean, I wouldn't let this sit next to my favorite Star Trek shows. I'm not going to buy the 7-season box set of Michelle Yeoh's fucking disaster show.
7 seasons, really?
Well,
I was going to say like 2. Maybe.
I don't know. But my point, I don't know. I'm being so negative.
The weird thing about this, for me, is that, when a show gets a spin-off, usually it's after a few successful seasons. You know, a character gets a really good reception. They're like a fan favorite. And then they get a spin-off. You know, it's like 11 years of Cheers. And then they decided to go another 11 years with Frasier because Frasier was a really interesting character.
Yeah.
There was 1 season and she was in like 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, have they watched season 2? Like, the executives watched season 2 and they're like, they're going to love it. Let's do a spin-off. I don't get it.
It is completely not earned. I mean, I'm being very negative. I want it. Well, no, I don't want it to be good because it can't be. But just Star Trek in general, I would like it to be better than it is right now because I'm sick to the core of seeing people say the Orville is better. And I don't think it is. I think the Orville's fucking pathetic. But at the same time, let's make it a more of a sure thing by just having Star Trek be better than it is right now because it's at the moment. I mean,
is the Orville still on? It's still going?
It's still on. Season 2 was coming out. I saw some synopsises for episodes, and they just looked really bad. It sounds like the exact same shit that it was last year.
Are they just spin-offs of classic Star Trek episodes?
Yeah, really, really ham-fisted, dumbass moral quandaries that don't matter. Like that stupid Bortus wanted an abortion, or his son was really a daughter, or it's such a skew-if show. It doesn't even know what it's trying to tell you half the time. I don't know.
Like 4 episodes, yeah. I got 4 episodes.
I don't know how
really
they want to. You know, it's just. But anyway, that was a question I wanted to ask you. What are the 3-letter codes for these new shows going to be? Because Picard is obviously Pick.
Well, we haven't even mentioned this yet. Picard is also getting a new show. Is it just about old Picard? And we don't know anything else about it yet, do we?
It's basically the Logan of Star Trek, as far as I... No, I don't know. We don't know anything about it.
It's funny because he was in Logan as well.
Exactly. I just want to complain briefly. The 2 guys that made J.J. Abrams' Star Trek so bad are these 2 writers, Bob Orkey and Alex Kurtzman.
Yep.
And I think Bob Orkey was a little bit too much of a conspiracy theory wanker, and they fucked him off. But this Kurtzman guy is still around, and his paws are all over Star Trek, and I think he's involved in this Picard thing as well. I really want to get rid of him. I don't know how we're going to do this, but I just want him out of... again, Star Trek needs to be better.
Start a petition.
I will say I'm glad that it looks like the movies have been cancelled permanently. I mean, I'm really hoping, because Star Trek isn't meant to be movies. It's meant to be a TV show. They keep throwing everything they've got at these epic stories, but it doesn't work.
Look, I reckon.
And it's a waste of time because the crew ages 4 years every episode. You cannot tell any interesting stories. It happened to Old Kirk, actual Star Trek. And I love those movies, but they only told basically one story with the movies because it took so goddamn long.
When they made episodes 2 to 4, did they film that all at once, like a Lord of the Rings thing? Or?
They should have, but they didn't. And so they spent the whole 80s basically like Police Academy, just stretching it out. Whereas if it had been a TV show, I mean, I'll defend those movies to the grave, and I love them. They're like my babies. But at the same time, think about the content you actually got. Like we have if you're somebody who's into Picard, you have so much more Picard to watch because he had 7 years of a TV show, as opposed to 6 movies. You know.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and basically, fuck the Chris Pine Star Trek universe. I hope it's gone. He didn't.
I reckon it is gone because Chris Pine is gone. He said he didn't want to do any more, right?
No, I think he said he was into it, but there was a pay dispute.
They didn't pay him as much as Gal Gadot did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Sorry.
Jeez.
So securing his place in the DC cinematic universe.
Yeah. No, look, there's nothing there for me. These movies aren't brilliant. I'm sick of the theme song. Dum da 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 dum da. How many times am I going to hear that in one?
Ba 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 ba. That's not the worst theme song, but yeah.
But it's the whole film.
They just keep doing it.
And that Idris Elba business. Every time I think about that movie, it ranks a little lower in my mind.
I still enjoyed that movie.
No, it was the best shot that they had at having any kind of fun, personable Star Trek. But I mean, ultimately, who cares?
It doesn't need to exist. And
it doesn't.
When you make a movie, when you make a Star Trek movie, you need a big bad guy who wants to do something big and bad.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't work. I don't think that works for Star Trek. It worked once with Wrath of Khan, and then they kept trying to do it.
Well, they kept trying to do it. In that the next movie, Christopher Lloyd came to town, wanted to kill everyone. Then in the next movie, the whales were angry.
I don't think that counts.
Okay, we'll skip that one. Cyborg? No,
Cyborg doesn't count either. No, I'm talking about the TNG.
I'm joking. With the TNG movies, it's Insurrection. Kind of had that.
It's all of them. Generations. Fucking Malcolm McDowell wants to. Doesn't he want to send the Nexus at Earth or something?
Yeah. He wants to destroy the sun, and the Nexus is going to come. It makes no sense. I mean,
no. Every one of the TNG movies, they wanted to do something big and evil, and it was a little on the nose. But we've talked about that a million times.
We have. I mean, every podcast we're going to bring up some old touchstones, but I just want to say the only reason it works for First Contact is because the Borg were just... I don't know if you were old enough to see that in the cinema, but that was so good. Getting a Borg movie and time travel and invention of warp drive, it was a good package. Even though Star Trek shouldn't be an action thing.
At the time, I imagine that would have been the best fucking thing.
Yeah,
especially my favourite part of that film, a little Deep Space Nine reference. Got a little bit defiant there.
No, I mean, even just the feel of it was just right. Like the Magic Carpet Ride song coming on when they're going on their first rocket launch. I mean, it was a very good package.
It was a classic. I might say it's a classic.
And then they really just saw the pooch and decided to give its ass a complete rearranging with Insurrection Nemesis. But we have plenty of time to talk about that when we get there.
When we review those movies.
Oh no.
Anyway, Picard, I don't know what the story is going to be. It's going to be old Picard. Hopefully, I don't want them to like bring back. I want them to have like maybe start it with Picard, old Picard, and then kind of transition him out. I don't know, like have him be there for like the first few seasons, and then just kind of let a new cast.
How many seasons do you think they can do? He's like 80.
I think they're like 4. I don't know.
More than Michelle Yeoh. That'll make me happy. I think they're going to mention the whole. I'm kind of glad that I think they're going to mention the whole Romulan thing, because it seems to me they got short shrift. Did I say that right? Fuck. It's kind of, one of the big 3 alien races of Star Trek got wiped out in that shitty J.J. Abrams movie, and then we never heard about it again. So I kind of would like to see what the fuck happens to them.
Well, they'll be alive.
Not even because not because I care that much, because they don't exist, but more as a kind of a curiosity. Like, you can't tell me that their fucking planet blew up and then not tell me what happens next. I mean, what do you? Anyway, I don't know.
Wait, sorry. Their planet blows up at the start of the new Star Trek, the 2009 Star Trek, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes back in time and blows up Vulcan instead.
It is still kind of new, because 2009 is like 5 years ago. So
that's true. That is true.
That is true. Hang on. What was the question?
Romulus blows up.
Yeah.
In the prime timeline, so it's really blown up.
Yeah.
And then he goes back and blows up Vulcan instead. So I haven't watched the film in about 10 years. So
Spock was gonna do something to save them, but he was too late, and then he got sent into the alternate timeline, and I guess Eric Bana came after him. It's such a bad movie. I fucking don't. Fuck. Oh shit.
I'm a Romulan.
So yeah, I mean, we probably sound like we really hate Star Trek, but I mean, actual Star Trek
No.
from 1966 to the late 90s, actual real proper Star Trek. There's quite a lot of it that I enjoy, and I'd love to get the opportunity to tell you about some of it. Thanks to our friends at Audible, we're doing a product placement now. No,
shit. I wasn't ready for this.
Put Brent Kavanaugh back up.
No, he's gonna save the day.
I mean
that. What's the animated show? I haven't really heard much about it since they announced that they were maybe doing an animated show. But have they said like where it's being set, or?
I don't know anything about it yet. I'm just kind of angry that it exists, because I watch what's happening over in Star Wars land is there's like a Rebels ended, and now there's something called the Resistance, which just looks even worse.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it needs to be there, and things are so quick. It's like it had just been announced to me, and already they're like near the end of their season or something. Like, it's already out. Like,
really? Well,
there's no stopping.
Kids shows are easy. They just pump them out.
Yeah, but that's I don't know. I guess it makes a bit more sense with Star Wars, because it is a kids show, kids movies or whatever. But so as for the Star Trek one, I know nothing about it yet. We'll have to keep our antennas. Yeah.
I think the issue. I think the difference. We might have to get used to, because I think with Star Wars, we've gotten used to kind of maybe ignoring some of it.
Yeah.
In terms of like they've got kids shows, I'm not watching the kids shows.
Yeah. Like, I never watched
kids shows. Yeah. I tried to watch a little bit of that Clone Wars one.
Yeah.
Because fucking nerds on the internet, they're like, this kids show actually got really good story telling. Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's a great show. It's still a kids show. I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
It's a fucking cartoon aimed at kids. Get out of my life.
I love Ninja Turtles, but I can't really watch it now. You know what I mean?
You're not watching it for the good story.
Yeah.
Put it on in the background and I
watch it for April O'Neil.
But oh yeah, I'd like to shove a pizza slice right up a cooch. I think I broke Scotty. The thing about Star Trek is I think we might actually have to start doing that with Star Trek as well.
Well, avoiding certain shows. Well, here's the thing. What's our mission statement? Our 5-year mission, I don't know how long it's going to take us, was to podcast all of Star Trek. And now that they've started up the Juggernaut and they're pumping out as much as they can, I mean, we have to, unless there's another collapse of Star Trek, hopefully in the next few years, we're in trouble. I don't know how we're going to keep up.
Well, I don't want Star Trek to collapse. I'd like it to keep going. Because I like Star Trek. And the more people watching... Sorry, why are you making fun of me? The more people watching new Star Trek, the more people watching old Star Trek.
Yes.
My mantra.
Maybe.
More people talking about Latinum, Gold Press Platinum. Garbo.
Look, it's like I said when I mentioned the Orville. I want good Star Trek. I want good Star Trek that can, knock it out of... Like, to me, I don't even need to defend Star Trek against something like Babylon 5. Obviously some people out there like it the other way around. But I don't even need to think about it. But with this Orville thing, I'm really sick of seeing comments saying, wow, Orville's so much better. I think Star Trek just needs to get a hoof on and stop making such bad creative decisions and just be a little better. So that we don't end this pointless fucking contest. And hopefully send Seth MacFarlane packing to welfare. I
wish he got in that plane back in 2001. That's a bad joke. The thing about... I don't want to just jump back into criticizing season 2 of Discovery before we've seen it.
Yeah.
But the little bit of the previews that I've seen, I feel like it's doing the same thing in the sense that the story, the big overarching story for this season is something wants to destroy all sentient life in the universe. And when you make the stakes that high, I can't eat them.
I can't even reach them.
I can't even reach the stakes, even if I wanted to eat them.
The writers of this show do need to just
chill.
Live and let live. Like with the first series, when they were in the Mirror Universe, I think getting home again were good enough stakes.
Yes.
Suddenly springing us with, but guess what? They're going to destroy every timeline. I mean...
Every Mirror Universe in the entire multiverse is going to be destroyed unless we fix this problem. Are they going to do it? Are they going to get it done?
It kind of had me reaching for the Armageddon. Like, can you please show me what was going to... Like, I would rather see this show end than...
That would have been a great spot to end the show.
Wouldn't it be great if the house had a blackout right when that happened on the show, on the episode?
Oh my God.
But yeah, no, and so it's the same with the season 2. I don't know. Spock's all throughout the universe sending beacons saying, "Come and find me, Burnham. You're my sister."
Is that what he's doing?
I think something like that. I don't know.
He's just a young kid. He's a young Spock.
I'm pinning all of my hopes on this show, just mostly being about Captain Pike, and he's not evil. And he's just a white guy.
Can they let the white guy just be a normal white guy?
But of course, we all know what happens to him, though. He has that freak accident and winds up in the motorized wheelchair. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, that might happen after the show.
Well.
Maybe he'll leave fine.
What's his name? Angor Cameron?
Ansel Elgort?
Angle Bangle bought.
I mean, I'm just looking forward to seeing a little more Shazad Latif, a little more Doug Jones.
Yeah.
And that's it. I don't know.
Oh, look, I'm, in spite of the fact that we've just spent an hour, 2 hours being negative, I want good shows. I want the show to be good. I want it to be better than last year. I want all this positivity, but it's just so hard when the premise seems to be a bad one, and the show all seems to be hinging on the actors that I hate the most, and one of them's getting a spin-off. I mean, it's hard for me to stay positive, but I'll try. I really will, because
we'll see.
Yeah.
It ended on a bad note, and it kind of left us a little bit sour. But we're gonna watch the next season, and we're gonna do the podcasts. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah. My
little Gormaganders. Oh, one thing I wanted to say on that Escape Artist episode, he said Space Whale. Why didn't you say Gormagander? It would have been a nice little callback. He said Space Whale.
Yeah. Well, I don't think. Maybe we're weird. Maybe we're the only kind of people that remember Gormagander. Gormagander. They had to say Space Whale, otherwise nobody would know what he was talking about. Maybe.
Oh, no. If he had said penetrating a Gormagander, everyone would have been like, he said Gormagander. He said the word.
That's the thing. We would have. We don't have access to their market research. Like, they can go on Google and see who's looking for Gormagander.
Google Trends. Let's see where Gormagander is ranking.
Nobody knows what it is. We better just call it a space whale.
It's right under Donald Trump Twitter in the rankings.
I don't know. You're gonna have to look it up yourself after we do this. But I really want you to watch his videos from the White House where he's showing off the burger feast that he
I did
ordered.
actually. I saw that video.
I'm so proud of it, boy. What a fucking joke.
Can you imagine?
Like
you're a winning team in some sort of, I can't remember what sport it was. It was NFL or something. No, it wasn't NFL. It was like a kids team or something.
Oh, they're college football or something.
College football. The winners, they get to go to the White House. They're all wearing suits, and then you come into the room. Donald Trump is not there. I'm pretty sure he left before they came. And there's cold McDonald's and stone cold cheeseburgers.
The way he's describing it all, like it's this feast. Oh, we have hamburgers, so many fries, and the thing is, this motherfucker, he's counted the hamburgers. He tells us there's 300 of them, then he doesn't tell me how many fries there are. How fucking dare you?
Yeah, you think he didn't specify a number of fries? He did.
And the video starts with one of the ball players saying under his breath, "I thought this was a joke."
Does it?
Yeah, the one I've got. They're all in there in their suits. Everything about this video makes me laugh. I'm so happy.
Maybe I didn't see the entire video. Sorry, let me just take off the Federation conversation bit.
Yeah.
This is just a little bonus part where we talk about current events.
Oh, it hurts so much. I just I mean, like the guy hasn't heard of Uber Eats. He couldn't send out to a local restaurant.
That's the thing. Look, there's a McDonald's close to the White House, apparently. There's also a Trump hotel right down the road where he has his own Tucson personal chefs where he can get them to... They could come into the White House and use the kitchen. What I said on Reddit today, because somebody was like... Oh, I can't remember what somebody said. But anyway... Can you imagine the optics of Donald Trump going into the kitchen himself and like grilling up some hot dogs and stuff?
Well,
that would have been so endearing.
Here's what I thought today. When there's a disaster, politicians do two things. They roll up their shirt sleeves and wear their shirt without a tie. And they go to where the first responders and the cleanup guys are and they fucking hand out hot dogs. I'm working the hot dog stand today, guys.
They don't always do hot dogs.
Here's some caramelized onions. Get them on your hot dog. You've earned it. You wash it down with the hero's drink. And if he'd pulled some sort of stunt like that, it would be great. But it's the laziest thing. Yeah, I want to order burgers. 300 of them? I don't know.
Well, no, he didn't get on the phone. He told someone else to get on the phone.
But my point is, he was on the phone to the guy on the phone. I don't know. But my point is, like, it's just like... And everyone's standing around in that room looking so, like, he's standing on one side of the table all on his own in his trench coat going, yeah, well, I want to see how much food is left at the end. I don't think there's going to be much. What? I mean,
I don't think you guys want salads.
Of course you're going to eat. And here's the thing. What I hate the most is, like, I joke about this on Twitter, and we have a couple of subscribers kind of, not defending him, but kind of playing it down a bit. Jestingly, because we're all friends and stuff, and it's not an argument. But at the same time, I think these people, they're so used to hearing people say everything Trump does is the worst, and he's the, oh my God, get him out of the White House. To me, this banquet thing is not that. It's just completely ridiculous, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like an impeachable offense, but it's just weird.
It's just fucking stupid. Like,
and it's like, what? His optics are so bad at the moment.
Yeah.
He seriously needs any sort of boost. And you think it even came to mind that he would actually cook the food for them? No.
Yeah.
It never crossed his mind at all. It's the easiest PR move. You just have to stand there, grill some sausages for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. David, I like the fact that we're picking up this optics thing. We're going to keep using that.
Well, I just wanted to talk about the optics. So.
Yeah. Oh, no, I mean, he can't build the wall, so he builds a wall of
cheeseburgers.
And he looks so lonely behind the table. Just everything about it was kooky.
Nobody's standing near him. He's got his big oversized suit. He thinks everyone's going to be super excited about these hamburgers that are stone cold.
It's just a bungle. It's such a bungle. That's why. And people are posting pictures of him as the Hamburglar it is.
I mean, you should see what they're posting in like the Donald Trump subreddit. They're all like, he's such a troll. This is going to trigger the libs so hard. And it's like, It's dumb.
See, to me,
It's being stupid.
see, I know that there are millions of these fucking Democrats out there that are all like, oh my god, how what a whatever they're saying. But to me, it's comedy. It's just so. How could it be real? How could the president be putting hot sauce packets and fucking ketchup in these
silver
beautiful
platters.
silver bowls?
And the candles are lit, and there's boxes of hamburgers
There's
going
candles
cold.
lit for these Wendy's fucking.
Have you ever let a McDonald's hamburger sit for more than 2 minutes out of the bag?
Yeah.
And you get to it, and it's stone cold, and it tastes like rubbish. And these guys come to the White House in their suits.
And they all look kind of. Oh.
One of them was just wearing his AirPods. Just.
What I wanted to see, but haven't yet, is at least one of the peckish ball players taking advantage of the situation with like a stack of the burger boxes under his arm, kind of like walking out of there. But
I'll take 10.
yeah.
Well, they need a lot of food.
But really, I mean, the government shutdown thing, I don't know a lot about politics. It does seem pretty absurd to me. Because it seems like one of these really things with like really obscure rules, like, you're not allowed to turn that light on as a shutdown. It seems like you can't just send someone in the kitchen.
Like I said, he could have just gone in there and grilled the sausages. Just get someone to go to the supermarket. Like, he has people, obviously, because somebody ordered the McDonald's and Wendy's for him. Get someone to go down to... He has some personal assistants. They must still be working. He can't just be standing in the White House alone. So, get someone to go down, get a whole bunch of buns and sausages, and then just put an apron on. All of a sudden, everyone loves you. I would love to see him do that. That would be very endearing. I still think he's a fucking idiot, but it would be funny.
He's making it sound very lonely. He keeps talking about how empty the White House is. And
he's waiting for the Democrats to come and have a deal with him. I'm all alone, I'm lonely, and I'm bored. I just want the Democrats to come deal with me.
Oh, the whole thing.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, you can tell where our allegiances lie, basically.
Well, see, I mean, I have none. I looked at those two other guys, the woman and the guy that were sort of...
Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, those two on the TV. I don't know if I trust them like that.
Snakes.
I would hate to be an American right now, because where do you turn? Not this Alexandra Nunez.
Nunez Sanchez.
With her dance video. I mean, I get it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, but I don't know. I just... Who the hell would you vote?
I think you're being a little too centrist at this moment.
No, I'm not centrist.
You're being an enlightened centrist. Oh, they're both bad. They're bad on both sides.
No. They're not bad on both sides. What I'm trying to say is, last time you had a lot of people saying that because they didn't know how bad things were going to be. And I just worry about the same thing happening again. So many people going, well, because they've got nothing to go for. People need to have some kind of emotional reaction, if not a logical one, to go for something else. Or you're just going to have a bunch of quitters like last time who didn't even turn up to vote. So I
do think the Democrats need to kind of stop, like, the way that they're talking about this shutdown.
Yeah.
They're not saying just, like, the basic facts that are, like, really obvious.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're about to pass this bill, and then Trump demanded a wall, and we didn't want to give him that. And it's not a negotiation, because he basically shut down giving the government back, like turning the government back on isn't a concession for the Democrats, because that should just happen anyway. That's not like he's giving them anything. It's just it's such a clear-cut case of him doing something wrong and them not budging. They're not saying that. They're saying like, oh, well, immigrants are great. And it's like, nobody cares. That's not what anyone's arguing about. Nobody gives a shit what... It's not about legal immigrants. Nobody cares.
This country was built on immigration. I'm so sick of hearing that shit. Oh.
Just say the wall, there's no plan... Like, it's not going to be $5 billion. It's going to be something like 20 or 30 billion. It's going to take 10 years to build. Just say that shit, and then people will go, oh, yeah. But they don't do it. They just don't say it. I don't know why. They're all old fucking retards. But You're not allowed to say retards anymore. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you can say that one. It's those other words we have to stop using.
No, I think you're not. Well, I think it's getting to the point where we're not allowed to say retard anymore.
God, the party's over, guys. The old Wild West of the internet.
I can't fucking just, have a friendly game of Smash with somebody and just call them a faggot. It's not allowed to do it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I totally don't mind snipping words from my vocabulary because it's easy, and I think I have other things to say than those words. But it does kind of take the fun out of things. I don't know. Can I just not have a separate internet where...
You can, Scotty. It's called Vote. It's
no. I don't want to be with those people.
You don't want to go to Vote? Every time somebody mentions it, I go over there and have a look. And every time somebody posts a thread like, "Hey, I'm new to Vote. What are the rules? I don't know." And somebody's like, "Get out of here, you N-word, F-word." It's you're a fucking piece of shit.
I don't want to be on that internet, but I just also don't want to be on the Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson internet. I just want to go back to something like maybe 2009.
Isn't there enough internet for all of us?
Apparently not.
I want to go back to YouTube when... when... what was it? When Weezer put that video out with all the memes.
Yeah.
Meme videos. Or when Bare Naked Ladies did it about 4 years earlier with the really early YouTubers. They made a music video with all the really early YouTubers, like the dancing guy who does all the dances.
Yeah. Man, that's taking me back. No, I don't want to go back. I really don't, because I actually have, for one reason or another, been looking at some of our old things and reminiscing.
I don't want to go back to that. I don't.
No.
I mean, if we can go back and just redo that, that'd be great.
Yeah, that'd make me very happy. No, look, I don't know. The internet's like Star Trek. I'm sitting here complaining about it, but of course, I like being a part of it and stuff. Everything seems so goddamn uptight. Like with the rules about certain words and stuff. I mean, again, I don't have a problem with obeying them because I think the people that want to have the right to throw certain N-bombs around and stuff and will fight to the death for that right. They're doing that because they haven't got anything else to talk about. And, I don't want... I'm not going to say that's not me, but I certainly don't want to be like that. I want to be able to carry on. I mean, look, there's a word I haven't said since I was 15, and I live pretty well without it.
Yeah, but if you said it, nobody's gonna bat an eyelid. But if you say the N-word, everyone goes crazy. You know that meme?
No, my point is, my self-control is not an issue here. It's the I can not say it. Watch me.
All right, I'm watching. No, it feels like there's a whole community, a whole slice of the internet.
Yeah.
Mostly on YouTube, where people just discuss. They just have extreme views on things, and they just make their money discussing these things with other people.
Yeah.
And not coming to an agreement. It's like Destiny, and then everyone attached to Destiny. It's just talking about these, like, really controversial subjects. So,
yeah. You know what
I don't know. I don't really get it.
What I would really like the internet to be again is more receptive to bedroom podcasts, because the other day I think I was reading about how much I was reading about this Logan Paul guy and what he's done lately, because he's in trouble for joking about being gay. And then I found out he has a podcast, and I click on it, and it's just about 6 people very self-congratulatorily talking to each other in a studio. Like a built studio. Podcast. Somehow it's even worse than the blue screen podcast thing that kind of got into fashion for a while there, where they would be... It would be a recreation of like a morning news set, but it was blue screen. Now these assholes are actually building lounges and studios and actual sets, and it's even, I don't know. Somehow that
does he worse. Say? What does he say? Like, I'm not
nothing. It's a 50-minute episode. The one that I clicked on was a 50-minute episode. I skipped to about 22 minutes in, and it literally landed on a guy, on Logan Paul saying, "So who's one of your favorite YouTubers or something?" And the guy actually says back to him, Well, the host of what's the name of the podcast? The Logan Paulcast. Whatever you fucking call it. The host of that show's pretty good. So he's basically just sucking this guy off on his own. It's just, and they talk about nothing. No, I'm not a hypocrite. We talked about Star Trek for a bit at least. I mean,
it's the theme of the show. I mean, when we had a podcast, we talked about nothing. But
but
it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. Yeah, he's about to release a fucking flat Earth documentary as well. So
no,
yeah, no, he's gonna near the end of January. He's gonna release a flat Earth video. I don't know if he's mocking it or not, but
oh my god,
I think he's serious about it. I don't know.
Well, here's the thing: it's the Poe's law thing where you can't tell if they're kidding or not, because he went on the stage and said the exact same thing that all people usually do once they get on that slippery slope. It's always the neatly packaged little tidbits. Well, if every photo of space is fake, then what else are they lying about? Of course it's if, because that's not the case.
And he stands on stage, and if he says, well, water is always level, and the horizon always rises to eye level, and then that's it. You're a flat earther.
Makes me so fucking angry. It did the Shane Dawson thing, Millie Bobby Brown. I just want to fucking grab these people by the throat.
Sorry, I want to clarify, for anyone's still watching, we have a bit of a bone to pick with flat Earth communities.
Yeah.
For personal reasons myself, and Scotty as well.
Yeah.
I've got an extra chat. Let's see, the thing is, I've got this extra channel, right?
Yeah.
I want to turn it into not exactly like Vsauce or, one of those people, like Smarter Every Day or whatever. But I want to
buy a globe.
I did buy a globe. Hey. Oh shit, that's gonna fall down too. I did buy a globe. I want to turn it into like a educational kind of thing, like with relatively well produced videos that kind of focus on like flat Earth bullshit.
Yeah.
Because I see people explaining things on YouTube, and they kind of skim over the really dumb specifics that flat earthers get into.
Yeah.
Like, if you explain something by saying gravity causes it, they go, but gravity doesn't exist. And then the whole video is nullified because they've decided to do that. Obviously, it's their issue. It's not the issue of the person making the video, because they're just explaining how gravity works. But it's those kind of things where if you don't specify exactly... If you don't cater it exactly to a flat Earth audience, they're just going to find it one word and just dismiss the entire thing.
Yeah.
And I want to make videos that, like, very simply, like, boil it down to fucking the simplest things possible and just explain it. I don't know if it's going to work. Also, the only video that I've gotten there at the moment is a parody, so I feel like it kind of ruins my my authenticity a little bit.
I want you to get to the point where it's known enough that you can interview one of these people, because that's for me. Is these Skype interviews where they bail out angrily?
Well, I've been challenged to like 3 different flat Earth debates, but I don't want.
And I wanted. Why aren't you doing them? I want to see.
It's just a waste of time.
Yeah, it all is.
Mate, and I don't even want to make like video responses, because one of them was like, "Oh, why don't you make a video response to debunk these claims that you didn't debunk my claim, so you're wrong." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make a video," and then I looked at the links that they left, and I was like, "This is gonna take fucking ever," because they left me. So this guy, he like left proof of flat Earth, and he had a comment. And he had maybe 3 videos at the start, one of which was long-range photography from an airplane. It's fine, you can nitpick at the photos, and you can kind of figure it out that he's bullshitting about some stuff. The next one was pilots saying that the Earth was flat, which is just laughable, because they're all just like they're all grinning throughout the entire thing, going, "Oh yeah, I reckon you're onto something there." When somebody comes into the cabin and asks the pilot if the Earth is flat, and they go, "Oh yeah, flat as a pancake," and they laugh, and they go, "Oh yeah, you're onto something there. You should look into that." God. And they use this as proof that the Earth is flat. And then the next link down was just a playlist to like 30 different videos. It's like, I can't debunk this. This is 30 videos.
This is what lawyers do. They bury you with evidence. Well, not evidence in this case, but they just give you too much to look at.
They bury the lead. It's called gish galloping.
Ah, sons of bitches.
It's where you ask for it, well, not even if you ask for evidence, but they just leave a fucking essay for you to debunk, and it's like you can't debunk all that. Not because it's undebunkable. It's just it's more time than you have in a day.
You mentioned that parody video that you made, and just really the most eye-opening thing for me was how all those people taking the piss out of you had the same problem as the flat earthers, where it's a script that is being followed. There's no thought in any of it.
It did ruin my perception of globe earthers in YouTube comments, because they come on there, they don't pay any attention.
Yeah, it's the same shit.
It's like, you gotta pay a little bit of attention when you're doing this, right? And especially if you're on the side of, like, you know, evidence and stuff, just be a little bit smart, listen to the entire video, realize that I'm joking, because it's so fucking obviously a joke.
Yeah.
And yet they come in and they're like, oh, I only watched the first minute because it was so stupid. Well, that's your fault.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, I wish you all the best in this, because I would love to make things about the moon landing and just, in general, talk about some of the stuff, but I haven't got I don't know, I think it's funnier when you do it. So, I don't know.
I will try and be a little bit humorous with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I need to get a better lens for my camera so I can actually do, like, moon shots. Because I've got the camera. I don't know where my tripod is. I bought a tripod. I don't know where it is now. I moved house.
You can get my zoom lens. That could.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna bring me this camera. I'm gonna have a look at it for you. I've had a Canon since 2012. I could probably like fill you in on a couple of the things you can do with it.
All tricks and.
Oh no, and I just mean lend you my lens as well, see if it fits and all that shit. So.
Oh, okay. Fine.
Yeah, that's all I was really saying.
Well, anyway, I mean, when I'm making these videos, at some point I'm going to get to stuff about the moon landing.
Yeah.
Although I do want to focus on, like, just basic scientific stuff, like,
yeah,
you know, the spin of, how the spin of the Earth makes it slightly squishy,
Cool.
But at some point the moon landing's going to come up, and then I'll talk to my chief correspondent Scotty on the moon.
Yeah.
You set up a blue screen, and then you'll be on the moon.
Looks pretty easy to fake, doesn't it? Do we still have that video where we've got Lunar Armstrong on the moon and the Godzilla attacks him? I must have that somewhere. I hope I didn't unlist it.
I think that's a fever dream that you had. I don't remember that. I don't know, Scotty.
Anyway,
we're going to wrap it up, obviously, because we stopped talking about Star Trek like half an hour ago.
Yeah.
That was the 4 minisodes. We're going to do another podcast probably Saturday. Or if I come over to your house, we can do it Friday night.
Yeah.
About the first episode of Season 2 of Discovery. And hopefully it stands up to the scrutiny of us, because we're the most important people on Earth. And, if you don't like that, then you can just go home.
A little bit of Australia there, huh?
Yeah, a little bit. I can see my house from here.
Yeah. I can't wait to tear into this fucking bag of crisps myself. I really want to see if the show's any better than when we left off. I have my doubts, but I can't wait to find out.
Anyway, okay, so
300 hamburgers.
Yeah, all right. I'm playing the outro music.
All right,
do a little bit of a dance. You know the music? Do you remember what the music is?
Doom, 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 doom. That one?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Shit.
Your shit.